My name is Herman Munoz, and I'm a playwright. Yeah, it was an interesting challenge to think about a project that didn't involve gender. I realized it made me learn a lot about myself and how I think about gender. It really messes with your head a little bit in terms of how you define a character. If you take away their gender, are they still a character or not? And that had to go through that. Obviously, they are, but I had to go through kind of that process to write my play for XY. And you do really think about, oh, men and women think differently and they speak differently, but how much of that is actually the way we're brought up and the way we're treated from a very young age? How much is that taught versus innate? So I thought a lot about that when writing my piece. To write Hopelessly Devoted to You, the idea came to me from an article that I read. I was living in Seattle at the time in the U.S., and one of my favorite online journalists, Dan Savage, has a column called Savage Love, and he's great. And I remember reading one of the columns in which somebody, their partner, had basically betrayed them. They were in a wheelchair, and the partner had a fetish for people with disabilities, and they didn't know. And they had just suddenly one day discovered that they had been taking photographs of them on their phone, and it was just a really messy situation. I'm always kind of attracted to people or communities who are disenfranchised in some way, or kind of feel oppressed or not able to be themselves. I think that if you've ever felt that there's not much gender parity on theater, in theater on stage, or backstage, or in any part of theater, I think this is an important project I always thought it would be cool to kind of see somebody on a wheelchair on stage doing something that's not being a victim.